Hello, everyone. It's been a minute, ain't it? It's been a while. Welcome back to the CDMS Podcast. As y'all may remember or may not remember, I am your host, Cameron, and this is my lovely co-host, Mario. And today we're back with episode, what is this? 17? 18?
I think it's 18.
18. Episode 18 of our lovely, lovely podcast. And yeah, um, it's been a minute.
I fixed my camera settings. I'm sorry that I'm not as energetic as I am today. I have a cold, so I don't feel best. I don't feel bad. It's just more like, have you had a day where you like woke up sleepy and the entire day you wanted nothing to do but go to sleep?
Oh yeah, that was this morning.
Yeah, that's basically
Black. Oh my god.
that's basically how I've been the entire day, and I woke up at 3.
Maybe I should get a light because I look black. Um, my apologies. No, I've had I've been feeling like that for a couple of days now. It's kind of gotten to the point where even when I wake up and like I get a full night's rest and I wake up and I'm still tired. But being that there's stuff I gotta take care of, I can't go back to sleep. And so I go on to do what I gotta do during the day. I go home, maybe I take a nap, maybe I don't. Jesus Christ, that was bright. Maybe I don't. And if I don't, I'm maybe up until like 10, 11, and then I go to bed and I wake up at 4 o'clock in the morning and I repeat the day as if nothing ever happened. And this has been my schedule for the past several months. It's not healthy. It's not healthy at all.
I don't really have a schedule.
Well, I mean, that's what happens when you have a night job and then you spend your entire night up and then you spend your entire morning also up and then you go to bed at 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock in the morning and then expect that to be energy energized, and so I don't really know what you would be expecting.
No, I'm just not a morning. I've just never been a morning person. Like, I don't go to sleep at like 5 or 6 or 7. Usually, I go to sleep at like around like 3 or 4 because it's like if you go to sleep between like that around that 3 or 4 span, you can wake up between the 3 times of like 10, 11, and 12, which give you those. It's still 7, 8, 10 hours, or 7, 8, 9 hours. You still got like the more like you wake up at 10, you still got that 7 hours sleep. You go sleep at 3, 7 or 4. That's 6 hours sleep, solid hours of sleep. You wake up at 10, so you still have 11 and 12, so you still got that morning time where you can do whatever. Because I do DoorDash, if let's say I wake up at like 11, and I'm able to do DoorDash at like 11:30. I'll do that until like maybe like 1 or 2. Make probably like 20, 30 something dollars from it, depending on how busy it is that particular day or of the orders. And then as I go about my day, then if I want to do DoorDash at night, then I'll do it at night, and I'll I would have made like 50 something dollars in that day or 30 or minimum.
Imagine having a vehicle to be able to have a second job, and imagine just, well, actually no, the second job and working a second job actually ties hand in hand because you need a vehicle and you have a second job, and then unless the second job's right next to your first job, and then blase blase. But I get a solid 5 hours, 4 hours of sleep every night, and
That is not solid.
it's it's it's, it's quite it's quite jelly. It's quite jelly like, to be honest with you. But I survive. I don't really complain. I get through the day. And you always question me why I'm always tired. That's why I'm always tired. I get no sleep.
Yeah, because you're not getting proper amount of sleep. Like people like you and everybody else can hate my sleep schedule because it's like random and it doesn't make sense. But as long as I'm getting like 7 hours of sleep, then it really shouldn't matter. Unless it's been, like my sleep, I've had a broke sleep schedule since like 11th grade. So what, 2016, 2017?
Yeah,
I've had basically a broke sleep schedule.
yeah,
So
you boasted about it.
I
Yeah,
just go with it.
yeah, boasted about it. Boasted
And
about that. That little six.
because of that broke sleep schedule, I can like basically on any given day I can stay up for 24 hours.
Yeah,
It also has to have like what's it called, a crazy energy tank.
boast about being an insomniac. Yes.
I'm not really. It's not really boastful. And I'm still getting healthy amount of sleep. You are an insomniac because you don't get healthy amount of sleep. 4 to 5 hours of sleep is not good for your body. You don't just stay or anything.
It's healthy for me, but enough with my unhealthy life choices. I think we should, you know, before we get into the not the meat and potatoes of the podcast, I think since it's winter, we should have a meat and potato stew technically. So let's taste the broth first. I kind of want to start off with the Josh Giddey thing, and my friend, that's where you come in. I'm gonna let you take the floor now since I'm the one that brought us into the circle. So
Um, Josh Giddey is a 21-year-old NBA basketball player that is now basically being destroyed by the internet because of allegations of him having relations with an underage female. Now, the case is weird because it's like the allegations came out and it's instantly been like, yeah, he's obviously in the wrong. He obviously did it, basically comparing him to Karl Malone. And for those who don't know who Karl Malone is, Karl Malone was a basketball player that's mostly known for playing with the Utah Jazz back in the 90s. Never been able to win the title because of Michael Jordan. But with Karl Malone was like 21 or like 23 when he had sex with a 12-year-old, got her pregnant, she ended up having a kid at 13. And he took the girl's family to court to basically not have custody of the kid and not be forced to pay child support. And he won the case. He paid maybe like $500,000 or $1 million to the girl and her family, and went on with his career. But ever since people start figuring about it now, it's just become more common knowledge. Now every time anybody talk about Karl Malone, they don't even talk about his career. They just talk about the fact that they basically call him Karl Malone number 13 or whatever. Since most people talk about how he got a 13-year-old pregnant, but she wasn't 13, she was 12, which I guess 13 make it sound better, but no, it's really be Karl Malone 12. But I digress. It's not about Karl Malone. It's about Josh Giddey. Josh Giddey. They said that the girl was like 15 or 16, which
no, well, actually, I think at first the allegation, at first the allegation was that she was a 14-year-old girl.
yeah, I think they said something like that. Um, they said I've seen 14, 15, and 16. No one knows the girl's actual age, but people just been making their own assumptions. Um, as more as came out about it, well, another reason why people, I'll say this before I get into the more context with it. Another reason why people instantly just say, yeah, he did it was because he did an interview. He was interviewed during practice or maybe after a game. I'm pretty sure he was during practice. And And the reporter asked him, "What did you think about the allegations in the case?" And he was like, "I understand the question, but I'm not going to speak on that right now." Which is the right thing to say. There is nothing he can say that's going to make people believe or make people think that he didn't do it. There's nothing he can say. All he can do is prove that he didn't do it with whatever evidence he have to prove that he just either didn't do it or didn't know the girl was underage. Because from what it seems like, he didn't know the girl was underage. Because here's some more context with it. I read an article that was saying how like what happened was they met at I think like around 2019. So when Josh Giddey was like 18 or 19 years old, he met this girl at an 18-year-old plus club. And if you met this girl at an 18-year-old plus club, then it's on the club for not being able to tell that this girl was like underage. So how did the underage girl get in an 18-year-old plus club to even be in that situation in the first place? I'm not trying to cave for Jaws, but I know more about him than I know more about the girl. Obviously, I've been watching. I knew Josh Giddey was when he was playing in college because I watched him play college. I'm not the biggest fan of college basketball, but for some reason I watched him get drafted and everything. I was like, this guy is going to be a great player eventually, and it sucks to see his career potentially being put at a halt because of something he probably did or did not do. Now, if he did it, lock him up, put him under the cage, put him in the coffin, give him the chair. All right, you already know how I feel about those type of people. But if he didn't do it, then he shouldn't be scrutinized for something he didn't do. I'm all of the mindset of innocent to proven guilty. I don't believe in guilty to proven innocent. I don't do that. I don't believe in killing them until all the evidence say, yeah, he knew going into it, he knew beforehand. And also, I also seen another article that was saying like, yeah, he didn't know that the girl was underage when he met at the club, but he still kept in contact with her after the fact that he knew that she was underage. So there's a lot of speculation. There's a lot of different opinions going into it, but nothing's concrete. Literally, none of this is concrete yet. This is all he says, she says stuff. And the family of the girl, what we do know is the family of the girl has refused to say anything. So it seems like the family is looking for a settlement. And Josh Giddey doesn't look like he want to give him a settlement. So I hope he don't give him a settlement. I hope he take this to court, fight it, do whatever you gotta do, sue the club, whatever. Because if he settles out of this right now, for the rest of his guy's career and the rest of the guy's life, they're gonna basically be associating him with this incident. So I don't care what legal team may tell him to settle. Do not settle this. Don't do it. Look at how they did Michael Jackson. He settled with all those families, and now the dude bro has been dead since 2009. He is still getting sued. His estate is still getting sued for stuff, and every time they go to court, the evidence is so inconsistent and so invalid. The judge have to throw it out every single time. Every single time. Crazy. All because he refused to. All because his legal team told him to settle. Man, don't chill, Josh. Just don't do it.
Now, what I'll say about the incident on the Josh Giddey situation is that the only thing that I knew about the entire situation was the very first post made about the incident, which was the selfie that Josh made with the alleged 14, 15, and 16-year-old. Now, I personally just don't believe someone who knew that the girl that he was having these relationships with was underage would just openly post a picture of himself with the female. It doesn't make any sense to me, and it just makes you think that there's like someone in the bigger picture trying to pull the strings in this situation, because the simple fact of like my co-host said, the family is trying to settle. Why are they trying to settle if this pro basketball player is having a sexual relationship with their underage daughter. It doesn't make sense to me because
You know what's crazy? I don't mean to cut you off,
I know
but
like you
I was watching this video that was talking about the R. Kelly situation, and they were saying how like, why is it that R. Kelly's the only one why is R. Kelly the only one in jail right now for the stuff he did with those underage girls and families when he basically paid the families so they wouldn't go to court and paid the families off. So why aren't these people's moms and fathers in jail when they took money when they knew what was going on? Because R. Kelly or whoever was involved or his assistant or whatever who he told to get the girls knew and explained to the families what was going on and what was happening. That's in the court documents. So and they accept it. So why are the parents not being charged with basically child abuse and child neglect? The same thing here. If y'all looking for a settlement, knowing that there's a potential that Giles Giddey is a weirdo, then y'all quite literally just pimping out your daughter. And you should be in the same boat as Giles Giddey. If it turns out that bro's a weirdo, and I've seen this other case where people are like, well, you got to think about the age of consent in these different states, and a lot of people saying, well, this happened in California. I don't know how true that is because Giles Giddey plays for OKC, Oklahoma City. Now, most of these basketball players they travel a lot. Obviously, they have to travel between games and stuff, but most of the times they're in their respective cities. Most times practicing or playing with the team, coaching, meeting with ownerships, etc. stuff that they do as an NBA player. Because as an NBA player, people just think that basketball players are just you just put ball in the hoop and that's all you do and you practice. No, there's way more to being a basketball player than that. But most people don't know that or understand that. So that's just the life of a professional athlete. You have people that criticize you because you're a public figure, you're a public athlete, and you have to accept that because that's your occupation. But yeah, the family's weird, very weird,
very weird because I know in my heart I ain't settling. I'm taking this to court. I swear to God, on everything that I love and hold dear, I'm taking this to court if this was my child. But obviously, the girl lied, and so if this does go to court, I ain't saying that she is. Actually, no, I did just say I lied. I did was there.
Allegedly, she's lying.
Allegedly,
it's not even allegedly she's lying. If it's a fact that she went to an adult club underage, bro. What? Now, I question your morals and the person that you are at that point because that's sick. You because like it sucks that we live in a time where someone who's underage can't go to jail or can't even really be charged or even looked down on as a predator because everything's put on the fact that they're above age. You should tell the difference between a 16-year-old and an 8-year-old. I've been seeing it a lot, and to be fair, you should, but and there's a pretty big but. Not every 16 and 15-year-old look like a 16 and 15-year-old. There are plenty of them that don't. There are plenty of them that lie, and makeup is a thing, filters are things, and I know you're saying that, well, it's a club. Okay, alcohols are in clubs. I'm pretty sure it's a private club. So, and I understand you saying like, well, he's not 21, so he should be legally able to drink. He's an NBA player. You don't think they drink? Like, you don't think they can pay people off to get alcohol, especially if it's one of those like 18-year-old private clubs where drinking is based off what the owners say it is. So private property is private property. So there's all these different factors you have to take into account. It's not as simple as, oh yeah, nah, dude's weirdo. So let's label him as weirdo. Nah, there's too much to there's too many different factors that's at play right now. And with the lack of information from all these different news outlets, I don't like that everybody just condemning dude so quick without knowing the full, like I want all the information. Like I understand that we're the media, like this is a podcast for Christ's sake. We are the media, but I don't want to have like and we do clickbait, but I don't want to have that type of clickbait and it's basically us saying like, yeah, we don't know because we don't know. Like I just don't I don't want that to be something we ever get to or do as a podcast. No, that's just not it.
Just to clickbait, just to get views and clicks on the video.
Yeah.
Nah, never. But if is that all?
That's my take on it.
I ain't really had a take on it. I just hope and pray that Josh Giddey ain't a child diddler. That's just the truth. Because and if it comes out to light that he isn't, and this was all employed by this woman, shame on her. But the next topic doesn't really kind of tie into this topic, but the media attacking a minor not a minority, but a group of people kind of does tie into the next topic that we're going into, because the next topic we're going into is the Keith Leaf situation. Now, I understand that the situation is basically 2 weeks old now, but it's still a prominent topic to talk about, because it doesn't just talk the Keith Leaf situation isn't just about black owned businesses essentially saying that black people don't deserve good customer service. The overall picture of it is just that it, and it's kind of racist to look at it like this, but it's the truth that these black owned businesses, they hire majority majority of them are staffing black people, and so it's black owned businesses and black employees, and now it's black people coming to these black owned businesses and black owned employees, and these black owned businesses already have a preconceived notion of how black people are, and so they're going to treat them like second class. And it's basically this internalized restaurant racism that has put the Atlanta scene into this massive magnifying glass that Keith Lee has put them on, and now other celebrities, prime example Cardi B, are coming out and talking about how terrible the Atlanta scene treats its people, and the fact that these clubs and these restaurants just don't want to make money.
Well, you gotta think about it. A lot of these, I don't know if it's racism with these companies, but considering they are black owned companies, black owned businesses, well, not black owned, but black employees. It's more, to me, it's more like they know, like those companies know, those Pacific companies know that even if they get backlash, they're still gonna have the support of the black community in that Atlanta scene, in that Atlanta food scene. Yeah, with the keep with I wouldn't necessarily say that it's some type of underlying racism with these companies. I would say that I feel like they think because they have the support of the black community that they can get away with crappy customer service and cutting corners. Because you got to think about it, every restaurant going into the restaurant industry is you're already losing profit, and being cutting corners and trying to keep profit is it's the only thing a lot of these restaurants care about. They don't really care about the customer experience and all of this. But if you're gonna say you care about the customer experience and then have crappy service all over Atlanta, because I've seen multiple YouTubers, massive YouTubers that live in Atlanta, black YouTubers, Legend of Winning. He's a social commentator and an NBA commentator. He's part of the Playback Channel. He's one part of the Playback Channel with Agent. Agent is from what's his name, from AMP with Kai and Duke, all them. But yeah, they both talked about the Atlanta experience and how crappy the service is there. A lot of these people, a lot of these restaurants, just they think they're doing something unique with their rules, and to me, I think I'm not really a big restaurant person. Like I'll go out every once in a while. Like last restaurant I've been to was like Longhouse Steakhouse. That was a year ago. Fun time, but man, that tab was like crazy. It was a crazy tab by the end of the night. Like it was like $300 something.
Oh, we sure did not go out nowhere, did we?
Nah.
No, we did. We did it.
What did we even? We got a lot of Pizza Hut though. If you know what we're talking about, oh yeah, we didn't even get a chance to like vlog it really. We met up with our friends at in Florida for Halloween. We were supposed to like we were supposed to do we had so much we wanted to do for Halloween and with the podcast, but life got in the way and it kind of just fell through. Really, the whole month kind of fell through. November was supposed to be the month where we was basically like working almost every day, or basically every day to recuperate the money that we spent in Florida. We did that somewhat. Still working on that. But we really didn't have time in November to record the podcast. It wasn't about to like, because we're not trying to do like a podcast every other week. We're trying to be more consistent when we're working on that. But we'll get there eventually. Also, it's beanie season. It's my new style. While my hair is still growing out, it's gotten a lot longer, but still working on that. But back to the Atlanta thing. Keith Lee had no reason to be criticized for criticizing a restaurant for having crappy customer experience. Like, what was it? He told his wife to go in there to see if I can get a table. They basically told her no, and as soon as Keith Lee walked in the restaurant, they said, "Oh yeah, we have like multiple tables here for y'all."
Oh, you can't forget the fact that they also told them that it was going to be a 2-hour wait time for a table. You can't forget that.
Yeah, and you got these restaurants. Some of these restaurants making people wait making an hour, 2 hour, 3 hour wait time for a table. Just to barely get any food, really? Nah, that's not right. That's not right.
That man Keith Lee was hilarious. Every single time he would post a video of him like going to one of the restaurants and not bringing back food. Funniest shit in the world. I went to the Milk and Honey today to try their level of breakfast. As you can see, I have no bags with me. Bro, busted out laughing every single time because it's crazy. And then the response to the incident from both the Real Milk and Honey and the Atlanta Breakfast Club, both just irreprehensible response. The Real Milk and Honey, they essentially just said they don't know who Keith Lee is. They don't know who Keith Lee, the UFC fighter and food critic that came to the Real Milk and Honey. And what's so crazy about it is that some of these restaurants invited Keith Lee to come to their restaurant, and this is how they was treated. They were the real breakfast in Atlanta, or whatever the hell I just said. It's not even worth remembering. The woman that owns the restaurant is off of the Real Housewives of Atlanta, and she posted a response video to the incident. And this was after the Real McGoney, whatever the shit's called. What's the name of the restaurant, Mario?
I don't know. What you said? Didn't you say Atlanta Breakfast Club?
Okay, thank you. I couldn't think of the name. The Atlanta Breakfast Club. when she posted the video, she essentially said that I apologize that we couldn't bring Keith Lee into the restaurant. We would have loved to serve Keith Lee, but it just seemed like it couldn't work out. But the Atlantic Breakfast Club, this was one of the restaurants that also said that they don't do takeout orders. They don't do reservations. There's you would have to wait an hour for a table. And when they sent the family in, same situation. They couldn't go in, but as soon as Keith Lee goes in, they have a table just ready for him out of nowhere, out of thin air. Well, all these other people waiting in lines, waiting in their cars, waiting just to be sat down, and you let a celebrity just because he has this status come to your restaurant just to get a spot, and didn't have the audacity to post a video saying that, well, we tried, but he just didn't want to come in.
Well, Keith Lee is one of the biggest food critics in the world at the moment, especially on TikTok. I think he's the biggest food critic on TikTok.
Yes.
And I've seen a lot of people say, well, once you start receiving death threats, I've seen a lot of people say, well, just don't go back to Atlanta and start going to restaurants around the world. You don't really need black people. You don't really need black support because it's popular as you are. You've been you're getting death threats from your own people. So go across. Heck, that's my advice to him as well. If you want to make some real money, do a food tour, go around the world, go to Indonesia, go to the UK, go wherever that they're offering you, or go wherever you want to go. Honestly, there's too many experiences around the world that you can go that you can make a lot of money for and get paid for while spreading your message of positivity and whatever. Because isn't he like religious positive person?
Yeah, he's a family man. Good old Christian family man. But he didn't start being a food critic because he wanted to be a food critic. The man, before when he originally started his food critic journey, he used to actually give very overzealous, very positive response to him, like the very fake food reviews that people would criticize other food critics for. So that's why he started doing more down to earth food critics, going to more ma and pa shops instead of going to the high end restaurants, because he wanted to appear to the more local audience, the more what's the word I'm looking for? The demographic, essentially the family oriented demographic that Keith Lee was going for, because he was making his content more oriented, family oriented, because his TikTok was just solely based around his family. And it wasn't until he started posting the full critic videos is when his TikTok even blew up. So that's when he started incorporating his family with his TikToks, and here we are today.
But yeah, if you're gonna get death threats from your own people, nah, just call it on that scene. You don't got to go back to the Atlanta scene. Do something else, because as your name become well known throughout the world, those same companies are going to be regretting the fact that they didn't have you. And you personally won't be seeing me in Atlanta. Not gonna lie. Like I was in the Atlanta airport. The customer service was also crappy.
Terrible.
We missed our flight because one of the attendants, one of the women that worked at the desk, told us to go to the gate. They were on the opposite side of the airport. And by the time we got to that gate and we didn't see a Delta airline plane, another person told us to go all the way back. We ended up having to run, missed the flight. And by the time we talked to the third person, the third person, which was a dude, and it was like, okay, I'm gonna show you this trick, and he basically showed us the fact that we can look up our plane tickets, our gate number, everything, terminal, everything on Google. But by the time he showed us, we missed our flight by 3 minutes. So yeah, I ended up going off. The woman got an attitude with me because I was going off because I missed my flight. So my friend had to step in and take care of that, because I was not about to care about your feelings, because I understand that, like, You're not the reason why I'm mad. You're not the person that I'm upset at. I'm upset as the first person that initially had us going to the opposite side of the airport when all we needed to do was go down the hall. So I'm really mad at that person. Not mad at you. And I even said that to her when I first went on my rant, on my tirade. I was like, I missed my flight because your customers, because your coworkers suck at their job. I didn't cuss. I came off aggressive. Obviously, I came off aggressive because I just missed my flight. This is my first flight. I mean, when I was a kid, I flew to Hawaii, but that doesn't count. But really, this is like my first flight. So, and it is basically ruined by something that I couldn't have prevented. So, I guess the only thing I could have really said was said in a nicer tone. But how am I supposed to be nice? How am I supposed to say in a nicer tone when I just missed my flight and I don't know, and I don't know if I'm going to have another flight, if there's going to be another flight to Florida, if I'm going to be stuck in Atlanta, because I don't want to be in Atlanta. I don't care about Atlanta. Like, I've never been interested in Atlanta. I've never been interested in the Black Hollywood experience. Like, to me, I grew up around Black people my entire life. Does that mean I want to continue to grow up around Black people? Honestly, not really. I've experienced enough of the Black experience. I wanna experience more in the world. I wanna see more cultures and everything. So it's not that I have anything against Black people or the Black community or anything like that. I want to experience more of the world. There's too much to see, too much to do and travel.
I understand, friend. I'm also not interested in the Black Hollywood experience personally because the Black Hollywood experience just sounds like not fun. It doesn't sound fun at all to me personally. Um, any final remarks? Any you want to talk about? You want to bring up the fact that Joe Button and I can't even think of the other guy's name. It was Joe Button and I'm just looking at it real quick. Joe Button because they also talked about it as well. And when they was talking about it on the podcast, it started getting almost got physical because oh my god, I think it's Joe Button. I can't I don't think it was Joe Button. So, but basically, it started getting physical, and the other guy on the podcast was basically saying that why are you trying to tear down Black communities? Like, if you're gonna criticize food, just criticize other people. Don't criticize Black owned businesses because, like you said, it's hard for Black people to get into the food industry. So don't criticize Black businesses because it's hard for us already.
But just because it's hard for Black people to get into the industry, that doesn't mean treat Black people like trash with customer service. That don't mean put all these different stuff in place to give all these people crappy experiences and then expect the same love and admiration from said community. Like, you can't do that. Like, if a white person, let's say a white owned business, let's say an Italian person come to America. Really, because you think about it, the immigrants that come over to America have it the hardest. It's not Black people, it's not white people. It's really the immigrants that come over here that make their restaurant. They have it the hardest here. But there's a conversation that nobody really want to have. But it's whatever. It's fine. It's okay. But you can't have crappy customer service if it was a white owned business and they was giving crappy customer service. What white people do? Start going to their restaurant, they instantly go out of business. It's just not even gonna be like you're to change it on the you're to change. You're given a limited amount of time to change with a white owned business, and there is no empathy, sympathy for you once your dream or your restaurant has gone downhill because at that point it's your fault, completely your fault, and that's how they're gonna look at you. But when it comes to Black people, it's like, well, we gotta give them a chance. We gotta give them more chances. You can't let them mistreat y'all, and then give them more chances. let them know as the consumer, yo, this is how we want to be treated. So treat us with common decency, and then we support your business and we support your dream. Because that's all a restaurant is. You're supporting another person's dream by eating there, by profiting there. So yeah,
With now with that was my final remark. That your final remark?
yeah. I wanted to do our WTF that I just watched of the week,
Oh,
and
ooh, in the middle. Ooh. Laugh is gross. Laugh is so gross.
very
Oh, it was the Joe Biden podcast. I should have just kept doing my research. Oh, 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 oh my God! I already know it. Just give me a second. Mm. You serious? Serious. It's so. You know, I follow. Oh, now for the second video, I follow this guy. I love all his videos. I don't know what it is about. Oh, let me fix my hair first because I look like a maniac now. But I don't know what it is about how people lease houses and like how owning a place works because I want to turn my house into an art project. And that guy's house, like how he has his walls in his videos, I want to do something similar to my walls. Obviously not
a bunch of
color.
loans, credit scores, stuff like that.
Oh, because Jesus Christ, my hair. Because all I know is I want to turn my entire house into an art project. I want to put glow in the dark paint all over the house. And at night, it turns my house into an acid trip.
Hmm.
Or I could have a room called the acid trip room. And that'd be the room where you could, you know, just lay there and fall into the abyss of
If you're gonna do a room like that, it has to be something very specific because not everybody, especially gonna have like, especially if it's like a room meant for like having multiple people over, to like to make sure that no one trips out in a bad way. But everybody, you gotta understand that everybody's gonna trip the same. So you gotta have something very specific to make sure that it's a comfortable environment for whoever's in that room, so they won't just freak out. So it's a lot of research to go into an actual trip room or just a trip room in general.
just if you can't hang, you can't hang. Like I don't understand when y'all gonna understand if you can't hang with the big dogs, you can't hang with the big dogs.
It's
Well,
not about being able to hang at night. It's about being able to like keep a person calm and control. It's all about controlling the situation.
um, I mean, oh my god, controlling the being able to control your high also just goes into being able to being control stress because I have never had a bad trip off of anything that I've done, and I ain't done a lot. That I will say I ain't done a lot, and so I ain't really ever had a bad trip, and so I wouldn't really necessarily even know what a bad trip feels like. Now I've been shit faced before. I think anyone who has been crossfaded before has been shit faced, and so
Honestly, I rarely ever get shit faced when I'm crossfaded. I have been once, but it's rare because either let's say I'm high and I started drinking, or I'm doing both at the same time. Eventually, I'm gonna stop either one or the other. Because there was one particular night we're in Discord, we're watching. I eat 2 edibles and I started drinking. By like an hour into it, I physically can't drink anymore because because alcohol physically feels like sandpaper because my cotton mouth is so bad, my dry mouth is so bad, I physically can't drink, and I'm like, okay, cool, so I can't drink anymore. So let me just be content with my high. But then there's like nights like the other night where like ate 2 edibles, I'm drinking, and I drink, and there's no problem whatsoever. But then again, I think I prepared better last time than I did beforehand. But
more
yeah, I've had multiple bad trips. Like I have a playlist for those who don't know. I make a lot of playlists on Spotify. I have like maybe like 80 to 90 playlists, all for a specific moment. And I have a playlist called Weirdcore. It's a Weirdcore playlist. And there's a song on there called Hello Daisy. And the history of Hello Daisy is kind of creepy. It's the first computer song. It's the first song that's that's not made with a physical human. It's made with a computer. So no, so there's some more creepy history towards it. I just can't think of it at the moment. But that song would quite literally put me in a panic attack mode while I was high, and I would listen to that song on purpose so I can get over the stress of being high. So I put myself in like a constant panic attack for like 3 minutes. Like it's really like it really felt like 6 minutes, but in reality the song's like 2 minutes long, like 2 minutes, 15 seconds long. It's a really short song because it was meant to be a short song, but when you high, that song feels like 6 minutes. It's like, man, when is this song gonna be over? Because I'm tripping out and I'm seeing stuff, and I'm not supposed to be seeing stuff. So, but my worst trip experience, I did it to myself. I ate 11 CBD gummy bears and a Sizzler string, which was 1,500 milligrams.
That's all right.
I was in constant panic attack mode for 8 hours until I eventually threw up and fell asleep. And it was so bad I couldn't go to class that day. And I woke up an hour before work. So that was a bad experience I never want to have again.
I guess since we want to talk about bad trips, I'll talk about my one and only experience of a bad trip. So I smoke, and that's my main thing. So when I get edibles, I just say they usually don't work on me. And so when I get edibles, I usually just eat a lot of them at once and just see what happens. And so that's what particularly happened this time. It was these cinnamon toast crunch cookies that I had never had before. And when I was eating them, I was like, these are terrible. Like, and they was really, really terrible to eat. And I wasn't getting high. And so I ate the cookies and I decided to smoke because I'm just like, I'm not high and I want to be high. So I said, I'm going to smoke. And I went after smoking, I went inside the house. I did my usual routine, but then I fell asleep. But I was asleep for the entire night. And when I woke up, I was ready. I was ready to wake up. But when I moved, the second that I moved, my head, my entire body ached. It felt like my brain was being like squished and put in a carbon press, and it was the most painful experience in the world. And what's so crazy about this entire experience was my wonderful co-host, was there the entire time because we had to record a podcast, and the entire time.
Wait, did that podcast get uploaded? Yo, that man.
Nah, listen. If we could find a recording for it, like if we could post it in an outtake, that would be funny to post.
Christ.
But essentially, while we were recording the podcast, the entire time we was recording, I was falling in and out of sleep, and
Bro
like
was out of it, man.
yeah, I was gone. I was completely gone. And this was like the first time that I ever experienced anything like this. And so I'm
Didn't you
just
think you died?
oh yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. At one point I thought I died. Because when I woke up, it was surreal how I felt when I woke up. Because because I actually woke up twice. The first time I woke up, I went to go use the bathroom, but there was no one there. Like, because I was in my aunt's house, there was no one there. My cousins wasn't there. My aunt wasn't there, and it just felt like they just vanished, and like it's like some being just like took them away, and they were just gone. And when I tried calling people. I tried calling Mario. He didn't pick up. I tried calling my mom. She didn't pick up. I tried calling my sister.
Here's the thing about when he called. He said he called. I looked at my phone. I had no missed calls from him, like whatsoever. So, and I'm like, bro, when did you call? He was like, you called me and I was freaking out and you wasn't there. And I'm like, I don't have a missed call from you. I have, and at this time I had my other phone, and I would never put my other phone on Do Not Disturb. So I'm like, I do not have a missed call for you. When did you call me? And I'm like, man, this dude thought he was dead. Man,
When I woke up the second time, that's when I was like, bro, am I really dead? I kept thinking to myself, am I really dead? And I started crying. I started having like an actual anxiety attack because I was just like, bro, I like how the fuck did I eat these animals and die? It was the looking back on it, it's the funniest shit in the world to me. But I really thought for a second that I died, and then that we're recording the podcast. My Mario's just like, bro, you might as well just give it up. We can't record the podcast. And what's so crazy was that I had to go into a job interview that same exact day, and so now I'm fast forwarding. I'm zooming in my car, going to the job interview, and the entire time I'm in the job interview, I'm just leaning over the table, just dying, trying to stand up, just trying to fucking with shit, just to try to stay awake. And I'm just nodding and saying, "Yep, yep, yeah,
yeah.
that's me."
But no, I casually have like not. Is it a bad trip when you like ate too much, you throw up? Do you consider that a bad trip?
No, I think I find that as a way of like your body trying to get rid of something in your body, because usually this is how I view when people throw up. It's either when you're sick or your body is just there's too much in your body and now some needs to get out because you don't have to pee and you don't have to go number two, and so you throw up to get some of it out, because when you throw up, don't you usually feel a little bit lighter when you after you throw up? So
Yeah.
that's how I was seeing it.
Yeah, 'cause there's like plenty of times where we're like I've done too much, and I like throw up, be like completely dead for the next like hour or so. Well, and then maybe like after that hour, 30 something minutes, hour or two, I'll be not perfectly fine because then because after that I have to um like go to sleep so I can like fully recover from that. But until that point, I kind of bounce back a little bit to where like I can get my job done. I can do my job as fast as I could do it before while I was high before I threw up. So yeah, that happened to me like plenty of times. So, and I usually don't worry about it, but because I'm still able to do the job at the end of the day.
Oh yeah, that's why I don't understand why. No, I understand why because depending on the strand of the weed or how strong the edible is, it can affect you on the job. Because I am a avid smoker. I'm an avid smoker, and I go to work. I smoke before I go to work. I smoke on my breaks while I'm at work, and I've been doing this for as long as I've been smoking. And so, at a certain point, the body gains tolerance to where you can be high and function normally. But it's not suggested to be high because it is true that being high does mess with motor function and what's the word, awareness, and your awareness to situations. So that's why they tell you not to be high on the job. But at the same time, if it's a job that doesn't require you to really be focused, then why not be
It depends
just a
because,
little?
like they say that, but it depends because some highs help you focus. So
Hmm. And then especially with the fact that weed cards and science science and mental illness is being mixed in with marijuana. People being high on the job and being high before the job, or just smoking marijuana in general, is becoming more common because now they're seeing that there's actual not adverse effects but actual effects that can be helpful for people with like ADHD, PTSD, ADD,
yeah,
and
but we always knew that. Though. I don't know why it was the well, I think it was the war on crime that basically put weed in that same category with cocaine, acid, and everything else.
mm-hmm,
Because the one thing that people don't I don't feel like people stress enough about weed. Weed is one of the most natural drugs, one of the most natural plants out there. It's not like cocaine or acid where like you take it once, or like what's it called, heroin. You take it once, and now something's different about your body. No, it's like the body was meant to be able to deal with weed and process it in a healthy, natural way. Unlike some of those other drugs, well, a lot of those other drugs, really.
ah, I don't know. To be honest with you, I I don't think I can personally agree with that. Now, maybe being able to cope with with it, yes, but being able to digest it, no, because um weed does something obviously to the body. It causes you to be, depending on it, more cognitive. If it sometimes it causes you to be a little bit more sleepy, hunger, um heightens emotion. And so I don't necessarily think we was even really supposed to get it, but because of we're man and we want to find new ways to feel good.
But we've been using weed for like hundreds of years already.
Well,
It's been a common practice since before we even knew how to like take strains and make the strains more popular or whatever. It really, I'm pretty sure what happened was it took one forest fire and one cave person walking by it, and then they walked through the smoke or whatever, and they were just laughing their ass off or freaking out or whatever. So,
well, I
but
mean,
then again, when I meant by digest, I meant processing it. It's in the sense of like the negative effects are so like minuscule depending on like the person, because you gotta think about it. As long as you're not overdoing it, you should be fine. There are almost no negative downsides to a person either using weed moderately or doing small amounts until you get high and you continue that way. Because I seen where all these bad trips and freakouts come from is when you try to overdo it because it's not hitting you as hard or as quick as you want it to,
Mm-hmm.
which is your own fault for not letting the weed do what it's supposed to do. It's doing what it's supposed to do. Your body is just absorbing it with time. It takes time. So a lot of people just want it to work faster than what it's supposed to, and I feel like that's the problem. That's going to be the problem with future variants of it, because it's all about how can we do something faster? How can it get done in a faster pace, in a faster way? So that's the problem with we in the future, medical or non-medical.
Because I agree. I'm not gonna sit here and deny that I'm not like everyone else and saying that. Yeah, I kind of wish that I would get high a little bit quicker, but when I get high, I get sleepy, and so really, I don't even really be trying to not trying to get high because I'm always trying to get high, but I'm not trying to go to sleep because it used to be that I would smoke, I'll eat, I'll listen to my music, I'll watch some anime, and I'll just vibe out. But now, being that I work so much, when I smoke, I instantly get sleepy because of the fact that my body's physically tired and or my mind's mentally tired. And now that my body and my mind is relaxed, my body is telling my body that it's time to go to bed. It's time to sleep. And it's time to start the new day. That's really how I be getting on my sleep. Yeah, because I sleep. I smoke before I sleep, and then like 2 to 3 hours later, I'm in the bed.
Mm.
But that's me. I feel like we kind of derailed.
Yeah, we did, and I don't know how long we've been recording. Probably we've been
Uh,
recording for well over an hour, I think.
uh, yeah. Well, 3 minutes over an hour, but we got two more topics. Just two more topics. The last two topics. Let me put it back on full screen. We being that we usually every time we record, we usually have news topics, current event topics that we talk about. But today, I actually wanted to talk about something that kind of affects every everyone, and it usually happens this time of the year around November, around November and December, and it's essentially like I call it winter loneliness because November, well, the end of October, the beginning of November, that's when everything starts really getting cold, the leaves start falling out, and fall is really starting to set in. And during these time periods, it's Thanksgiving and Christmas, which are two of the most biggest family oriented holidays that happen every year. And I feel as if one form of loneliness that isn't talked about is the loneliness that's felt around this year. Now, I'm not saying personally that I'm feeling lonely at the current moment or around this time period, but what I will say before Thanksgiving, I was feeling kind of lonely because I was thinking that this year I wasn't going to be able to spend Thanksgiving with my family at all because work is getting a little bit more hectic. Amazon at the time was making me work 55 hours a week. And my mom also working at Amazon as well, but she's working at Amazon at night. And so she's having to go in on Thanksgiving as well to work. My sister also working on Thanksgiving. And so I just thought that we wasn't going to be able to meet up. And it really put me in this depressive state where I didn't want to talk to nobody. I was eating less than I already was eating before. Sleep, like the sleep that I already wasn't getting was getting worse, and it just progressively just kept getting worse. And then up until maybe 3 days before Thanksgiving, my mother told me that her and my family are trying to get some food together so on Christmas we can actually meet up. And as soon as I was told that, the depression just kind of just went away. And it's the little things like that that kind of matter because I haven't even really been depressed all this year, as as it is stands right now. I think where my mental state is, I'm in a pretty good spot, but I'm at a spot in my life where I want to grow and be a better person. I'm thinking about the people that I want to have in my life. I'm thinking about the kids that I want to have, and the fact that I want my family to be a part of my life. But it just seems as if every year, with new deaths being brought into the family because the old is dying off, family members getting into arguments and fights, drifting apart because they just can't stand each other anymore because of one little incident, or friends breaking off from each other because they can't see eye to eye, or it seems like you have to sometimes pick a side, or you just can't even give your own personal thoughts to them when you thinking that they're your best friend, but you feel as if you can't even tell them some stuff because you already know that they can't even give an opinion about it. And so I think even if you don't support Christmas or support Thanksgiving, I think you should just give your friend, family member, someone you ain't talked in a while, a call, text, something, just to let them know, like, hey, if you need someone to talk to, you can come talk to me.
I agree. I feel like a lot of people take these holidays. I feel like a lot of people take family situations for granted. It's the little things you give away, the little things we don't really acknowledge until it's not there. It just takes.
Yeah. Uh, Not to Debbie on both our past situations, but he's my family. Love this man to death. Love this man to death. Oh my god, and I'm excited. I'm excited. I ain't gonna say anything because I ain't gonna make no promises, but I might have something in the woodworks for um for this podcast. Uh, and so I I would want to say is that since we didn't say it before, happy Thanksgiving, everyone. I know it's I know it's late. It's December.
Happy Halloween, happy Thanksgiving, happy Groundhog's Day, whatever we missed. Goddamn.
Like every single holiday that we missed and that we didn't say happy to it all. I really I would say, even though that it's not the end of the year, hopefully we can have another video out. But if another video doesn't get out, I'm gonna do end of the year reflections in this video. For the first year of the podcast, I would say we didn't do bad. We could have did better, but being that this is our first time diving into anything of the sort, actually trying to make a not even a business out of it, but making something out of nothing. We started this off of just, hey, you want to start a YouTube together? And it was like, sure. And then Mario was the one that said, you want to do a podcast? And I was like, oh, that makes sense. We talk about a lot of stuff together. We talk for hours on end. That sounds pretty easy. Yeah, fuck it, let's do it. And then here we are. We may not have. We actually no. I'm gonna be lying if I say we ain't gained anything. We gained understanding. We gained awareness, and we have also, because we've been doing this, we gained a form of maturity and a little bit of a form of responsibility because we see that there's an avenue for this, and as long as we stay onto it, there's a way that this can work. Never in my life have I really tried to do anything, but I hear so much good things about the podcast from other people, And when I tell them about the podcast, and then I tell them about the plans that I have for not only my future, but the future that I have for the podcast, they say, well, damn, shit, just all you seem like you have everything together. Just all you need is time and just stay on to it. And it's the little comments like that. I don't need $1 million. I don't need a hug, a pat on the wrist, a wristwatch, or a car just to show that you're supporting me and my adventures. All I need is just some nice words of affirmations. And if you got a suggestion, I love a suggestion. But I think for what we have done and what we have tried and strived to do, I think we did a pretty good job.
I'd agree. I want to wait to give my end of the year
Oh yeah, okay. Well,
stuff until it's the actual end of the year, because I don't feel like this is gonna be the last video we make for this year. Anyway,
no.
besides we still got a compilation to make of like the best moments of the year, so that's gonna come probably at the end of the month, or if not at the end of the month, maybe like the first 5 days of January. So expect that. So expect between the 25th and the 5th of January for those type of videos to be out, because they're going to be there. We're going to have, I think, probably best moments of the podcast and best moments of shorts, because shorts are funny. Shorts are funny, because I would do I would do a compilation for WTF, but I'm still working on WTF. So there may or may not be a WTF compilation, but as of right now, what is a guarantee is best moments of the podcast compilation, not WTF, but a shorts compilation. So expect those 2 videos to be going out between the 25th and the 5th, because I am working on those.
And that being said, any final remarks, Frank?
Try not in life we tend to take things seriously, because we get so caught up in the stress of daily life, we forget that sometimes you don't have to take life so seriously. You don't have to. Not everything has to be dull and gray. Not everything has to be confusing. Sometimes you just have to just go with whatever flow that's going on at the moment, and to just go with it. Sometimes when you go with it, you roll with the punches, and you'll be perfectly fine. Just take your time.
My final remark is there is a time and a place for everything. And we don't know where our place is now, and you don't know where your place is now, but the universe has something stored for all of us, and we just have to kick back and enjoy the ride. And until then, we just watch the universe, and if we don't get anything in the end, then we just watch the galaxy burn as carbon dioxide destroys our planet, and gas fumes kill our oxygen, and the companies burn down our trees and cut down our trees so that we can have more apartment complexes and malls and skate parks. But with that being said, I have been your lovely host, Cameron Butler. This has been my wonderful co-host, Mario Belbrew, and we will see y'all. We'll see y'all in the next video. Bye. It was a good one.